Are there any preconditions for the arrival of Moshiach? There are many descriptions that we find in various Torah sources, both in the Nevi'im and Ksuvim, in the prophecies from the prophets, and in the teachings of our sages, which describe different events that will unfold as Mashiach will come. Amongst them, for example, is the famous war of Gog and Magog, and other descriptions of different events that will take place before Mashiach comes, the generations before Mashiach comes, etc., etc. Now, many of these events, most of them, are unclear exactly how they will unfold, as Rambam makes it very clear, and there's different views, there's different opinions and different descriptions of how things will unfold themselves. Often these descriptions are contradictory, but a common theme amongst all of them is a lot of them discuss miraculous events that will take place together with Mashiach's arrival. There's also huge shift and change in world events that will take place, and many different descriptions which are supernatural and are so on and so forth. And as such, many people are hesitant to accept the notion that Mashiach could come at any time, because they say that they're waiting for these descriptions to unfold. For example, many people have this notion that until the war of Gog and Magog takes place, Mashiach won't come. However, as the Rambam makes it very clear, this is a very mistaken notion. The reason is there's a few points over here. First of all, Mashiach could come in many different ways. And from the onset, from when Hashem created the world, and the purpose of the world is the coming of Mashiach, Hashem set up there could be multiple ways Mashiach can come, and a lot of it is based on the merits of the Jewish people. As such, there's no one particular way that a person should say that I'm waiting for this and this event, these and these events to unfold, and then I will know Mashiach is coming. Even those events that are clearly prophesied about, that Mashiach will come, A, we don't know exactly how they will unfold, and B, they're not a prerequisite. They're not a condition. For example, even the war of Gog and Magog, you don't know exactly when it will take place. Will it take place before Mashiach arrives, after he arrives? According to some sources, it won't have to take place at all. It's not something which is mandatory. It's an event that there is such a possibility based on certain circumstances, but it's not an absolute must in order for it to take place. The Vilna Gaon said this, a lot of tzaddikim, Chassidish Rebbe said the same thing. As such, there's no such a thing that a person should say that I'm only waiting for Mashiach to come when I see certain signs manifest themselves. Because first of all, we wouldn't know necessarily how to identify those signs. And B, they're not a prerequisite, they're not an absolute prerequisite for Mashiach. There's another point from the flip side, that even when certain events which are connected to Mashiach unfold themselves, we have no assurance that Mashiach actually came until he comes. As Rambam himself explains, that you could have a concept of a person of Mashiach, of a Cheskas Mashiach, someone that is presumed to be Mashiach, that does many great things, but until he actually succeeds and does his mission, you don't know that he's Mashiach. Could be that he won't succeed. There's such a possibility also that could happen. So the bottom line is, the Rambam writes, a person should await the coming of Mashiach without any, conditions and prerequisites, because we don't know exactly what they mean anyway, when they will happen, we know what they're all about. And therefore, a person should just accept that the idea that Mashiach can come at any time, and it depends upon him. He shouldn't be waiting for events to unfold. He should unfold his own events. He should do what he has to do to increase goodness and kindness in the world, and so on and so forth, and particularly that many signs that our sages told us, not necessarily about Mashiach's arrival, but the generation that will be before Mashiach's arrival, which no one disagrees about. What those descriptions have become manifest in a very clear way. So therefore, we shouldn't just be sitting and waiting and saying that we have to wait for this event, for that event. What we have to do is we have to do what we could do. Mashiach could come in a way of achishan, in a very quick way, without all these conditions, without lengthy procedures taking place. So the demand from our side is that we have to do something to make it happen. And when we do something to make it happen and hasten this coming, He will come without all these conditions and without all these events. Hashem should help that we should merit the coming of Moshiach in a peaceful way, in a merciful way. He should come speedily in our days. Amen.